Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about how to put on sterile gloves. Now, when I was in nursing school, we were taught a very precise way how to put on sterile gloves to make sure that we didn't contaminate the gloves, that we didn't contaminate ourselves, and most importantly, that we don't contaminate our patients. So I thought it would just be a nice video to talk about it, show you how to put them on, and once you know how to do it, it'll be easier, you can do it quicker, because obviously it does take some time to make sure that you're putting them on correctly, but sometimes while you're in clinical or while you're working, you don't have all that, much time to be super precise. But if you do know how to do it properly, then it'll be easier to do. So first things first, when you're talking about your sterile field within yourself, your sterile field is about your belly button range upwards. So as soon as you put those gloves on, keep your hands up, because technically if you put your hands below your midline even for a second, technically you've contaminated your gloves and you're gonna have to start all over. So for me, once I had put them on during clinical, I just kept my hands up. And I know it's kind of childish, but it really just helps you remember to keep them up so you don't contaminate your field or you don't contaminate your patient. So that's first thing. When you put the gloves on, I'm gonna show you exactly how to put them on, what you should be touching. There's a sterile part of the glove, there's a dirty part of the glove, so we're gonna get into all of that. Hey guys, okay, so these are what the gloves look like. So they come in this little pouch. These are definitely not the quality that you'll probably be using within clinical. This is just something that our school gave us in order to practice with. So you'll probably see a lot, better quality ones. But for now, we're just gonna learn from these. So usually it'll come in a little pouch like this when you're either doing a Foley catheter or you're gonna have to clean out a wound or pack a wound or whatever. So it's gonna come like this. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like and the little different parts and then the sterile parts and the quote unquote dirty parts. And then I'll show you all together how to put them on. So you open it like this. It goes open, so you have your left and your right glove. So this part right here, this is the part that you can touch. And when you open it, this part here is going to be your sterile field. So it's very important that you only stick to touching the little corner parts, which is why they have it folded so that it's easier for you to maneuver. So I'm just gonna open it up. Okay, so we're just gonna pretend everything is not sterile. So just I can show you what you should be touching, what you shouldn't be. So technically, this part here, where the crease is inside, this is all sterile. So you should not be touching this. You shouldn't be doing anything like this, but I'm just going to show you. This little outer corner here, you can kind of see going around and up here also. That part is what you can touch because that's how you're gonna open up the little plastic part or the paper part for the gloves. Okay, so it's always gonna have a little bit of a cuff here. And if it doesn't have a cuff, I'd probably get another pair just because it's definitely going to be harder without the cuff. So technically speaking, this is the dirty part, the cuff, and obviously the gloves are the sterile part. So if this part can't touch this part and this part can't touch this part, and same, vice versa and whatnot. So when you first put on your sterile gloves, you want to take your non-dominant hand. So for me, my non-dominant hand is my left hand. So I'm going to take my left hand and I'm going to touch the little cuff and then put my gloves on. Now it's a little bit tougher because this glove is not very friendly. Okay, but see how I totally messed up how I'm gonna put them on. And that's okay, because when we put on the other one, I can go ahead and fix it. So I'm gonna hold on. Okay, so just for teaching purposes, let's just pretend I did put it on so that I can show you. So this part, my whole glove is now sterile, so I cannot touch this part of the glove. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go underneath the cuff, hold it this way, and then put your hands through. Okay, so now this is messed up. So because this part is sterile of my gloves and this part is sterile, I can go ahead and fix what got messed up. So now all this is sterile and I'm ready to go ahead and do whatever procedure that needs to be done. And remember, when you put them on, keep your hands above your belly button because you will totally contaminate your gloves and you're gonna have to start all over. Now these are definitely a harder pair of gloves to put on because they're kind of like, you know, typical gloves, not really like, you know, for sterile procedures. But just remember that once you put your gloves on, you cannot touch the cuff part. You can only touch this part because both of these parts are sterile. And then you don't want to start touching this anyways, because this will end up being your sterile field, and you'll probably put whatever utensils or not, you can put it on here. But then again, and just for learning purposes, don't start touching here because this is definitely contaminated. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you how to do it all in one go. Okay, now that you have your sterile gloves on, you can go ahead and do your procedure. Remember to keep your hands up at all times so that you don't contaminate yourself, your sterile field, nor your patient, and you're good to go. So I just kind of wanted to show you how I'm putting on the gloves because sometimes you can't really see what I'm doing behind. So I'm just going to show you. So for example, let's say I already picked up my glove from my sterile field, so it already has the little cuff here. So what I'm doing is I'm just simply putting on the glove and I'm just touching the cuff part, okay? And I'm sliding it in and I dropped it and I'm letting it go. So let's say I already had put my hand underneath the cuff and I'm holding it like this because again, I cannot touch the cuff part because it is dirty and I can only touch the sterile field part, which is inside the cuff. So I'm holding it like this, as you can see. So I'm just sticking my hand through and I'm letting it go, and see how it's all messed up. So now because this part is sterile and this part is sterile, I can go ahead and fix myself. And I used to do this all the time when I was in school. I was mess these gloves up so many times, but it's okay because you can go ahead and touch them and fix them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mess them. And then they're up. And again, hands are always up. And please remember that because when you're in clinical, the nurses will look at you, your preceptors or whoever's watching you are gonna look at you, and if they see you put your hands down for a second, you're done. And it's just a process because then you're, you know, wasting inventory where you didn't have to, and then it takes up more time, and then no one's really happy with you, and it's just a whole thing. So just remember, put them on, gloves up, don't touch the non-sterile parts. These parts are sterile, so I can literally just do this. And once you put them on, just make sure that they fit right. You just want to close them up, and then you're good to go. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that it helped. I know sometimes at first you can be a little bit scared because you're like, oh my God, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to have to get new gloves and start over again and all of that. But really, it's not that bad once you just take a moment and really go through the steps. If you guys have any further questions, please feel free to email me. My email is down below, or you can leave a comment. If you have any suggestions of what other how-tos of nursing you'd like me to do, please go ahead and contact me also. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, night, afternoon, whatever it may be. Remember to always, always, always believe in yourself, and I hope you have an amazing week. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.